Hey everyone, how's it going? Octopus here and welcome back to evercrisis. We're going to be talking about the monthly schedule that they put out. They don't really put out like banner schedules, which I feel like they should. In the city Operamia, we definitely have that, or at least when I used to play, there used to be like a schedule saying, hey, this character's coming out, this weapon's coming out, or a banner, event, and you kind of like plan ahead of time. I wish this game did that, but they gave us some small sort of monthly schedule. But anyways, we're going to talk about the monthly schedule. We're going to talk about that high score event coming up. And we're also going to talk about just the Final Fantasy IX collaboration banners, what you should be kind of leaning towards. Not too much, because I want to make a dedicated video on this, especially because I spent 70,000 crystals on one of the banners. And I will mention that in this video. But let's jump in. Let's talk about all of that. And hopefully we can clear up some things. Alright, so let's jump in and talk about the 3 new notices that we just got. One is the event dungeon ranking. It is back. This is a very free-to-play, and I know this is like a loose term to put here, but it is a free-to-play event. When it comes to like getting the ranking rewards, as in, okay, I got a B, A, S, S plus ranking, you can easily do that during these events, and making top 100, top 500, whatever it is, only adds so much to it. Unless they change the rewards to this, is one of those events you can take easy and not have to go out of your way to make sure that you're making top 100 unless you really want those banners. So when it comes to the deciding factor of should I spend a bunch of blue crystals just to compete in this dungeon ranking to get so-and-so reward, you got to ask yourself, is that reward really, really worth it? And I know most of you guys are going to look at the materias, like the synthesis materials, the gold ones, and be like, okay, I really need those to make a better materia. All that is RNG. I have a no overboost account that has so many 4-star materials with great stats on it just from having one materia slot activated, or 2 of them, sorry, making materia regularly, or using just the purple synthesis materia. So you don't need the golds in order to advance your entire kit, but it does help. But it shouldn't make you spend 30 or 60,000 blue crystals. That is something you guys got to really decide. Okay, I've done everything else in the game. I've done this, I've done that. My account's great. What's my next challenge? If this is your next challenge, then go for it. If crash battles are something you want to be able to complete yourself, then pull for crash battles. And I'll explain that in a second. So if you've never been here and you're new to the game, a dungeon ranking is like a high score challenge event that was in like Union Cross. It's basically you go in there and you defeat a fixed amount of enemies. They're all in the same place, randoms and the static ones, plus a bunch of items that help you boost your damage or boost your HP or whatever you need during that quest. The way it works is that there's going to be a score system based on how well you did, the speed, the enemies you defeated, and how much damage you took. There's other deciding factors like how many items you use, but usually those give you the edge in order to get a higher score versus don't use them, because then that gives you a lower score because you took longer to beat an enemy. So there's a nice balancing, but once you get your score, that score is put up against other players, and that's how they decide the ranking. Who did the best, who was fast, who did the most damage, who took the less damage, and who used the least amount of items. These are a lot of fun because they make you think outside of the box, and these are probably one of my favorite events in most gacha games. I know it can be very stressful, and that's why I do make guides on this to kind of help you guys through it, explain my thought process, and show you guys my runs to give you guys a good idea. Your setup is never going to be the same as someone else's setup, so always work with what you have. Whatever overboosted weapons you have, that's most likely your best setup, not the characters. Focus more on the weapons. There is certain characters that shine more than others, but if you have no overboosted weapons on them, usually the guy with 3 overboosts that you randomly got lucky on will probably help you more, depending on the weapon. But yeah, these make you think outside of the box. I've done this on my no overboost account last time, and it went really well. I got a great placement, I completed all the rewards, and that went very smoothly. So the idea here is that water is going to be the better element, and non-elemental weapons are effective against certain enemies. So judging by the place, we're going to face the experiment, and the experiment doesn't have a weakness. You just got to beat him up while he tries to poison you. Water element, if you guys are currently facing Ramu or trying to farm him for the co-ops, or just single trying to do the very hard, you guys probably have already worked on your water setups, but I'm going to show you guys a couple examples of the best weapons and how I beat Ramu very hard in order to unlock Judgment Bolt, which is the AoE version of his summon ability. Again, it looks very straightforward. Gacha tickets, blue crystals, emblem for just completing the rewards, so getting the S ranking or higher. You guys can collect all the rewards. No acceleration mode. The event period and the content are subject to change without notice, and then everything else looks about the same. Yeah, so very straightforward. Just try your best. There's going to be groups of 10,000, depending how many players are in the game. You guys will be in multiple groups. Last time I saw up to like 16 or 18 groups. So you're not stuck facing the entire player base, which would have been crazy. Imagine if we didn't divide into 10,000s. That would have been hard to make top 10, top 100, top 500. I'm glad they break us down into 10,000s. But let's go into actual weapons and characters. So, two main weapons that stand out the most, especially on very powerful characters, is Cloud. Cloud's Maritime has water potency on it, but it also deals water damage. So one copy will get you 400%, which isn't good enough compared to a 3-star materia. Even if it has bad percentage rolls on it, a 3-star materia sitting on a 20% slot. So if you're using a physical attack boost plus 20%, you put a water blow on here, and a water blow on this will do just as much, if not closer, to the amount of damage, but only for 3 ATB. So when you divide the 4 ATB and the 3 ATB, the damage doesn't make any sense to use Maritime at no overboost. And this usually goes true for other weapons as well. So what you're looking for is at least one little red star on a weapon, and that's what pushes this overboost into a higher percentage. And then these weapons are worth the 4 ATB. But as it stands, you just run this in the main hand for the water potency at level 90 and the boost attack, and then you run the water materia. But if you guys do have this multiple copies, Cloud is a very powerful unit because he has a lot of other weapons like Murasame that can go on the offhand to complement the physical attack, and then so on and so on. He's just got a very powerful kit. If you guys got his costume from when Maritime came out, even better, 20% extra damage. The only other weapon in the game that does very good water damage, single target, is Lucia's. Lucia has, I believe it's called the Serpent Eater. Now this is the same thing, but Serpent Eater is actually a little bit more powerful. Even at just no overboost, 420 is just the right sweet spot that you can start using this for what it is. 420% potency. It does have the water boost, HP, not a physical attack, but again, you don't have to run this in the main hand unless you have a good amount of water potency to build on. So you put this on the main hand for 9, try to get 6 water potency in the off weapons to get you to that 15.25%. The more overboost you have on these weapons, the more they'll shine, helping you out. Now for AoE, there is Matt and Red 13. Matt's weapon is Orthodox Raven. It does AoE damage at 290%. Again, materia, single target is great compared to this, but if the group of enemies is 3 targets, then yeah, doing 290 divided by 3 of those, or multiplying by 3, is better damage than one single target materia. So in that case, Matt weapon over there, and Red 13's, I believe it's like a Noble Collar. I'm usually good at pinning this out. I like Red 13. Yeah, Noble Collar, just by the looks of it. Water, same thing. Level 90, 280. It's got water boost on there and a boost attack. So if you're looking for AoE versions, there's that. But for the most part, just running materia on the materia slots is very powerful, including Tifa's. Nope, these ones, the healing ones. The stats in front, the healing is not going to help you, but water potency 12, and also on this is a unique water potency ability over here. So if you put your water, either be physical or magical, however you build your Tifa, you get actually 30% boost, which is much stronger than the 20%. So if you put water blow here or just Watera, you're going to do a ton of damage just with your water materia. So Tifa is another good option, and she just came out with a good banner, so you can use her as your non-elemental build, but also an elemental water build because you have this equipped to her. So you can kind of mix her as a healer, physical, whatever you want to do, right? Keep an eye on these gloves, and I believe that Zack's new weapon also does the exact same thing, if I'm not mistaken. Water attack boost plus 30%. So another good option, plus this lowers if they are weak. Zack's going to be a great option. Even at level 90, you'll get at least 1 tier in there with 2 defense down. So 4 ATB, don't debuff anymore, just start DPSing like crazy. So another very good option there, and it's in the wish list, and it just got added, including with other weapons, to the ticket draw. So if we look back at the notices that are just released, my face can find it, there it is. Under the new notice, additions to the tickets, Bandage Sword, Cloud's healing weapon, Dark Haven's Sephiroth's physical weapon, and Black Whiskers is the one we're just talking about. That's Zack's new water weapon, which will help during this event. And then, of course, we got Glenn's pumpkin, which increases physical attack of anyone in the party by mid or high potency, depending on how many overboosts you got. So, for the event, those are your options. I personally beat very hard to Ramu to unlock Judgment Bolt, I believe it's called. Right? The big AoE lightning attack for the limit break with just 3-star water materia. Right? That was way back in, way before the other high score challenges were a thing, right? We got that done way back with the weaker account. I could upload that video if you guys want it, or I just showcase just water materia, which I think is a good idea. So hopefully I can get that out. But that's your water choices. I believe there's a couple more things, so let me just double check. Of course, how could I forget? Sephiroth does have one as well, and Sephiroth is most likely one of your main DPS if you're from all the way in the beginning. Even now, pulling for his new debuffing weapon, you guys can combine that with the Shinra Blade, which you're supposed to, because you need a non-elemental damage weapon, but also he's got that secret water ability, damage plus 30% for your water materia. So you can do very, very, very well with Sephiroth in this event, even if you didn't pull from him back then for the ice or wind version of him. Putting this in, putting whatever else to boost it, right? Boost more magic up, or you guys can put in Nameless to lower defense, or his new weapon to lower attack of the entire AoE. And my recommendation again is get a 3 or 4-star copy of it and just use weapon parts, which is, I guess I can show you guys that here. Yeah, just use weapon parts in order to actually increase it to a 5-star. My brain's not working today. Here it is. Weapon materia, weapon parts. If you look at your Sephiroth probably has 120. So whatever copies you get there, plus in the future, you guys can just slap 200 this and it becomes a 5-star. So that's my advice when it comes to water weapons. Let's talk about the rest of the notices that are in this. And that is the December schedule that's going on at the moment. So again, I wish this schedule was a little bit better, but this is what they given us, and it kind of sucks, but it's better than nothing, I guess. So if you're preparing materia boost campaign, great success is higher, and the amount of rewards in the synthesis is increased by 20%. For the most part, you don't really have to farm this because your chocobos are doing this, but if you're like my other account, which is the no overboost account, I only have 1 chocobo going. I don't have all 3 slots unlocked, so sometimes I run this here and there. So if you do want to stock up a little bit, don't go crazy. That's a good time. Weapon enhancement boost campaign, great success is increased by 20, and the amount of rewards are increased by 30%. So great time to farm grindstones, genomes, and nano cubes, right? Definitely, if you haven't anything else to do with your stamina, you should always be farming those nano cubes and genomes so you can always increase your weapons to level 80, more R abilities, water potency up. It all works hand in hand. And then we got the growth character, which we're all grinding for experience right now. So it's great that it's coming back on December 10th. Not too far down, right? Take advantage of the Final Fantasy VII one right now. Get those 7 characters to 60. Then work on everyone else, unless everyone else is your main crew. And then we got Chocobo Expedition, which is the amount of players' experience gained while riding the Chocobo will increase by 20%. And then the rare drop rate will increase by 20%. This is really good because if you want more of that night synthesis materia to make ruin materia, which is your stat sticks, definitely use your Chocobo boosters. So save them until December 17th and pop them in there if you want more ruins, but also save some Chocobo boosters for the future. I believe it's the ocean Chocobo coming out, or river, but there should be new Chocobos. I don't know when, but yeah, if you need more materia stat sticks, it only takes 6 purples and 10 blue materia to make a 4-star very easily, and that will give you that advantage you need. So instead of trying to fight your way through the high score event or the dungeon ranking, you guys can just drop a bunch of Choco boosters on an area that drops the night synthesis, which is one of the last areas. You'll see it's like a purple diamond. Just boost there until you get a whole bunch of copies. 60 copies of that will get you 10 rolls at a 4-star or higher. And that's pretty much about it. That's all the notices. Hopefully that little bit of information to prep for that dungeon ranking is there. I did talk about how I spent 70,000 blue crystals, and that was on this one. As you guys can see, a brand new card, not touched. I didn't pull 1 card. Crossover number 3 had both Tifa and Cloud. I'm on card number 5, so I did 4 full completions of this banner. I dropped 70,000 blue crystals, and I will be releasing that video showing you guys what I got along the way. But the thought process here was to make Cloud as incredible as possible. I want to work on Murasame Cloud, my Thunder God. He has Ramu, he has his armor that increases 35% lightning potency, and that's why my wish list looked like this, and that's why I dumped 70,000, just because my Cloud is from day one, and I want to work on 1 DPS, because 1 fully maxed out DPS or near it can carry you through so much content. And then Tifa was a bonus. So that's what was my plan. I will make separate videos for this, explaining more, showcasing it, and going into deep detail. But if you are someone who watches all my videos, especially till the end, you'll see that I showcase Murasame Cloud versus the attack stance Cloud and why I went so hard on this banner. So hopefully something here helped you guys out. This is pretty much everything I want to talk about, and tomorrow, good luck on the high score event. And with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Keep on smiling, and I'll smell y'all later.